Hello everyone, welcome to Back of the Net. I'm Tom, not Sam. Welcome to the opposition preview. We have got Charlie from Blues Brother TV, the Chelsea fan channel with us, previewing the game with Chelsea at the weekend. So Charlie, nice to have you, mate. What's your thoughts going into Bournemouth away? Because we've spoke about this on our channel, that Bournemouth away, often you go Chelsea, rock up there, win the game. But we've had some decent results against you in the past. So what's your kind of thoughts on Bournemouth away, and is it a must-win for you guys?
Right, I know it seems mad to say after 4 games, this will be fifth game of the season, but we are in must-win territory now already. If you want to qualify for the Champions League, which we have to do this season, in my opinion, then with the league being so competitive now, with so many more teams fighting for those spaces, you've got to pick up the points on a regular basis. And one win from our first four is not the start we would have wanted. A really disappointing result against Forest last time out before the break. So, look, Bournemouth away it's a tough one. Obviously, last season we went there and we won towards the end of the season. Lampard's only win, so
Yes.
we take it. It was a good day out, but yeah, this is like as you said, mate. We don't do that well down there. I remember a few years back you hammered us 4-0. There's been a couple of wins for you boys down there as well. So it's not the easiest place for us to go. We don't have the best record there, but yeah, mate. Given our start and given the fixtures we had, I thought we would have had more points on the board than we do right now. As I said, mate, this is must win, and the pressure's always on at Chelsea, but the pressure's really on now.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. It's a weird one because from our perspective, as you say, you're going to be the first team we play that have lost a game. So we've played all four of our fixtures been against teams that haven't lost. And then after you, we go to Brighton and then we play Arsenal. So from our point of view, we haven't won yet. We're going, is this a good time to play Chelsea? Could we get something? We kind of need something. But as you say, Chelsea really, really need the points. And what did you think of the most recent game? Was obviously that Forest game, which was a disappointing one. I felt like watching it and watching that West Ham defeat as well, that there were similarities in you were fine with the ball, but the teams just soaked it up and just waited and counted on you. Is that the best way to beat your Chelsea side at the moment? Is kind of let you have the ball a little bit?
Yeah, mate, I would say so. Do you know what's kind of mad? Obviously, the Forest game aside, but in our first 3 games, like in each game, we've actually done some pretty good stuff. We've played some decent football. You can see like the ideas that are forming under Pochettino. It's just obviously we haven't quite got the finished article. We've not quite put together a 90-minute performance. We've put together like 70 minutes, 45 minutes, and whatnot. We haven't quite got the full package yet. What I would say is, mate, probably the best way to beat Chelsea is just to it's to try and counter-attack us. Obviously, like we really struggle to. This is not just a new thing this season. This has been a thing for a number of years now. We really struggle to break down teams that get men behind the ball, like low block football, essentially. So if a team goes 1-0 up on us, chances are you're probably not going to lose the game because we just have a real inability to break teams down. And all the money we've spent, and I like some of the signings we've made, we still struggle to put the ball in the back of the net. And that's the hardest thing to do on the football pitch. And yeah, we've brought in players that are good, that have got quality, that are creative, that you hope will score a few goals. But my big concern is still where are the goals coming from in our team? I'm sure at some point it will click and will be good because I think we've got too much quality for it not to. But at this point in time, I just look at the side and think, yeah, there's loads of good players there, technical, creative, pace, power, good link up play, hold up play. But there's no one that I look at in that side and think, yeah, I can really rely on them to put the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis. So, yeah, if you get 1 or 2 goals, if you get a goal against us, chances are you probably won't lose.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, mate. It does, like you say, a lot of quality in that squad, but you do think, is there someone that's going to get you 20 goals? It's, obviously you haven't seen him Kunku, so remains to be seen. But it brings me on nicely to Nicholas Jackson. So don't know if you or Chelsea fans are aware that we virtually had him in
Mm.
January. He came to Bournemouth, and when I say failed a medical, we obviously needed him right there and then because we were in a relegation scrap at the time. And we knew he'd be out for a few months and decided not to take the gamble in case we got relegated. And obviously then we spent a lot of money on him. And then we went back in to just get him back. And obviously Chelsea come through the back door and nicked him off us, which we were disappointed about. But what have you made of him? Because my perspective has been that I like him. I think he looks good. I think he's going to be a good player. But like you were just saying, is he someone you can rely on putting the ball in the net consistently? It's still early days, but does he look like a 20 goal a season striker yet? Probably not. But are you happy with him leading the line at the moment?
Yeah, I think so. Do you know what? It's kind of a matter. I mean, it would have been really interesting to see how he would have done at Bournemouth if he'd
Mm.
actually ended up signing for you boys. But look, he coming in the summer. I don't really think any of us expected Chelsea to go and sign him. Obviously, he fits the mold of what we're looking to do with our new kind of recruitment, our new way of
Mm.
doing things. He had a really good pre-season, scored a few goals, was lively, and he started the season well. Yes, he's only scored one goal, but what I would say is he's a handful. You know, he runs the channels well. He holds the ball up well. He links play up well. He'll always give his best. He's pacey as well, which is helpful. But what I would say, and like with all young players, you know, and particularly young strikers, I don't look at him and think, yeah, he's got that ruthless finishing streak in him. Look, that can be developed, of course, but you know, some players you can just tell from when they started playing football, they just got that natural finishing ability, that natural, you know, realization, that national instinct of how to put the ball in the net. I don't know if he's got that necessarily. I think that can be developed, that can be coached, and his finishing can definitely improve. But right now, my concerns would be that he's still very raw, and we don't have any other striking options with Nkunku injured. Our other option, who's coming back from injury now, might be on the bench this weekend, is Broja,
Yeah.
another striker of a similar caliber. So yeah, look, I like Nicholas Jackson, but the reality of the situation is right now he's raw, and I don't think if he scored 10 league goals this season, I'll be honest, that would be a phenomenal season.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know what you mean. I think probably the plan was to have him available, come in and out the team because you've got Nkunku, and now you suddenly become reliant on him because of the injury, which is not easy for him or for the side. From looking at ourselves, is there anyone in Bournemouth? Obviously, we have Solanke Lee in the line who's had a spell at Chelsea. Is there anyone that you think is a main threat to you? Have you seen like a few of our transfers and stuff? Do you think that's how Bournemouth can hurt us or?
Look, I think Solanke is always a bit of a handful. Obviously, signed a new contract, so that's a good thing for Bournemouth. Yeah, look, I think he's a decent player. He can be a threat. He can definitely put the ball in the back of the net if you create the chances for him. I do like the lad you signed from Leeds. Not
Yeah,
Somerville, the other
Sinistera.
one, Sinistera. I think he's a really good player. I think he's probably an upgrade on what you had at the club already. I think he's a
Mm.
good player. I mean, I don't know if Alex Scott's still injured, but I watched a bit of him at
Yeah, he's
Bristol
out.
City. He's a good player. Obviously, you've not been able to see him play for you boys yet, but he would have been one I'd be looking out for. There's not really like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's not anyone that I look at and think as a standout, oh, he's going to be like a massive threat. It's more of as a collective and how the team plays. Because I think nowadays, you know, a lot of sides don't necessarily. I mean, outside of the bigger sides, perhaps there's not
Yeah.
necessarily always a standout player. It's kind of how they play as a collective. But I like Sinistera. I think he'd be one to keep an eye out on.
Yeah, just come into the club, so we're hoping he'll be involved in some capacity. I could probably see him starting on the bench, but yeah, we're excited about him. From your end, then, so obviously we know all the transfer business you guys have done. Is there anyone, because I think we obviously know about Jackson just because of the links we have with him, and Sterling obviously has come in previously, and everyone knows about him. Is there any of the signings that maybe you've gone under the radar a little bit that you've been impressed by or are looking forward to seeing more of? Because, for example, I know Gusto's done all right for me in my fantasy team
Mate,
since Reece James got
he's
injured.
been great. He's been really good. You know,
Mm.
out of all the signings we've made, I know we made him back in January, but we loaned him back to Leon, so he
Yeah.
only joined up this summer. He's probably going to end up being one of the most important signings because, as good as Reece James is, his injury record has not been the best over the last few years. He's missed a lot of games over the last few seasons, and now we've got that quality to come in. That whilst Reece being out is not great for us, it's a hell of a lot better than it was in the previous years. So Gusto is a signing that I really like. He's done really well for us. I mean, outside of the obvious ones, I think. I mean, the thing is, though, all of them are quite big money signings and like quite
Yeah, I know.
like it's quite hard to sort. There's not really too many under the radar ones, but I think for me, Gusto would have been one of the best. I do really like the Cole Palmer signing as well. I mean, I don't think any of us expected. I don't think anyone expected Cole Palmer to come to Chelsea, but you know, he's only been here a couple of days because obviously he joined just before the window closed. He had the Forest game and we've had the international break, but he's a player that I like. He's just got a bit. He's got something about him. He's got a bit of an eye for goal, something that not a lot of our
Yeah.
forwards have got right now. So yeah, I guess those two would be my main ones, and obviously we've got Levi Colwell back as well now after his loan at Brighton. So I've been impressed by his start to the season. Look forward to seeing more of him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we were talking on another show, and I was saying I wonder. I don't know if you agree, but I was looking at them. recently it's been that kind of Enzo Fernandez play a little bit further forward because you've got Caicedo and Gallagher. And I wondered if against ourselves, you might take one, not going to be Enzo because he's key, but you might take Gallagher or Caicedo out and play Cole Palmer and go a little bit more, kind of Sterling and Palmer behind Jackson and then having the other two. I don't know if you might mix that up potentially because I think when I've looked at Chelsea and like you said, played some good football. I think for the Liverpool game in particular, I thought you were very good. But it's, as you said, goals, trying to break teams down. And I wonder if Palmer starting in this game might be something to unlock us a little bit. I wondered if you thought he might be a shout to start.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. A lot of Chelsea fans want Cole Palmer to start. And not, as you say, Gallagher would be the obvious one to come out. Not because he's played badly, but because we just need Palmer's got different characteristics, different abilities. Yeah. He's probably a better player going forward than Gallagher is. I think in this sort of game, we can get away with playing Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo as a pivot per se, and then have Cole Palmer playing as that 10 off Nicholas Jackson with maybe Sterling one side and then Mudryk or Madueke the other side. I remember last season Madueke had a really good game down at Bournemouth. He was really impressive. He's not had the most opportunities this season, but I think an opportunity for him will be good. But yeah, absolutely, I think Cole Palmer needs to start, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does. I mean, I hope he does because it's just going to give us a bit more attacking intent, a bit more of a threat. For as good as Gallagher's been, he just doesn't carry that same sort of goal threat and that same sort of guile in the final third as an out and out attacker like a Cole Palmer would. So yeah, I hope that happens because that was definitely going to give us a better chance of getting a decent result.
Yeah, no, definitely. Interestingly, I think Gallagher did score at our place.
He scored a header lot, open the scoring. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, but I was going to say the same thing. Madueke caused us a lot of problems that day. I thought he was very good. So I still think at the moment he's probably that player that will come off the bench if you need an opening. He's still quite raw, like you said about Jackson. But yeah, it'll be. I mean, it's a weird one, this Chelsea game, because like I said, we've beaten Mourinho's Chelsea, Conte's Chelsea, Sarri's Chelsea, but we couldn't beat Lampard and Potter's. So no clue. I mean, from your side, you'll be happy to know that I think it still remains that the player that scored the most goals against Bournemouth ever is Raheem Sterling. So I think he got a hat-trick for City against us, might have got a couple a few times for Liverpool. He always scores. And then Jackson nearly signing for us, you feel like, he's going to score. So, yeah, it'll be a really intriguing one, mate. What's your prediction? I mean, I know you're going to be hopefully be a bit positive from a Chelsea point of view, which I respect, but
yeah,
are you still expecting a tough game?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Bournemouth's not an easy place to go to. I mean, it is one of my favourite away days. Looking forward to heading down again on Sunday. So, I mean, it's always an enjoyable one. It's a good atmosphere. It's a tough place to go and play your football, but I think I've got to back the boys. But it's going to be a difficult one. I mean, I expect you to cause us some problems. But I think we'll just about shade it. I think we'll have maybe just a little bit too much quality. But again, it's whether we can use that quality to create those openings and stick the ball in the back of the net. I'm going to go for a narrow 2-1 win, but I really wouldn't be surprised equally if we didn't win this game.
Yeah, I think that's fair, mate. I think that's fair. Obviously, I'm hoping that we can nick a point or something. But as you say, the two, so we've drawn with West Ham and Brentford, and then we narrowly lost really to Tottenham and Liverpool, who are them sides that have maybe got that added quality to the other two. So, and that has been a difference really. Took the lead at Anfield, and then suddenly Diaz does something special, and you think, there's not a lot you can do. So that's my worry, particularly with people like Sterling and Enzo Fernandez. But I'm looking forward to it, mate. We'll have to try, and we do fan cams after the game, so we'll have to try and catch you, especially if you lose. I'm definitely going to be ringing you. Okay? Go on, let's have a chat about it. But no, I appreciate you coming on, Charlie, mate. I'll put his link for the channel in the description below. So yeah, look forward to seeing you at the weekend, mate. And have a good one.
No, cheers. Thanks for having me on, mate.
Cheers, mate.